go on to the next question. And it's going to be regarding housing again. There's a lot of questions regarding housing. I'm sorry I haven't seen this. It says
That's weird.
oh my gosh. So, San Antonio has a history of inequity with regards to economic development, education, housing, and employment. Mission trails,
Jessica's in that.
Sorry, I don't understand that right. I apologize. Seaboard Works, Hemisphere,
Soapworks.
Univision.
Soapworks.
Soapworks.
Soapworks, Hemisphere, Univision, Malthouse, and now High Street Bridge serve as a shining example of where your priorities lay with regard to gentrification and displacement. I can speak in regards to Univision, but sorry. The talk is big, but how do you justify the support of developments like Mitch Mayer's in the same breath that you talk about trying to develop the housing task force? Actions speak louder than words. Do you have any questions you'd like to take up? So,
well, I mean, I hear the question, and I think I know okay, really.
It wasn't me.
Okay. Well,
There are other people who feel this way.
So there's a lot of issues in there. There are a lot of issues in there, and I hear it as an airing of grievances of the things that have not gone right. And I will tell you, from a policy standpoint, we've got a lot of boundaries that we've got to work with and change if we're going to change the outcomes of any of those things. One of them is private property rights. And those are a strong tradition that are going to be eternally standing in the city of San Antonio as they are in the rest of the state of Texas. There are limited things that we can do. When a private property owner has the right to develop on his or her property, that is a given. But
Stolen.
Well,
It was stolen.
so the other thing is what you're referring to as gentrification and displacement. The city learned a lot of lessons in Mission Trails, and I have said that over and over again, which is one of the reasons why Maria Berry-Zaval is on the committee, the Housing Task Force, and she's providing a perspective, a historic perspective, about what the city has not addressed that has resulted in gentrification and displacement. We cannot, as a community, look at areas of our city that have been underinvested in, that have been decaying and falling apart for generations, and say, you know what, we're not going to do anything about it because it's going to change property values to the point where people are going to be forced out of their homes, because it's going to result in more decay and more blight. It's not right for those families. But what we can do is we can invest in those communities, bring their streets and their drainage and their sidewalks up to par as you would find on any other side of town. But we can do so with programs in place, initiatives in place to help prevent the displacement in the first place. And if it does happen, have some initiatives and some funding available to make sure that people have a soft landing. Displacement is not an acceptable condition in the city of San Antonio. I think we can all agree with that. But I think it would be foolhardy for us to say it's never ever going to occur again. So we have to at least provide that net as we embark on a comprehensive housing strategy. But we have to work within the bounds of the law, and we also have to say that in a city where we're growing 66 people per day, that's going to be 1.5 million more, it'll be 3 million people in 30 years. It's not also acceptable for us to continue to sprawl ever outward. We're 500 square miles right now, and one of the reasons why we have such a challenge with affording police and fire and streets and drainage and all that stuff within the city budget is because we have to extend our resources so far out. We are going to have to densify as a community, and it means that buildings are going to come up in places where we're not used to seeing them before. But we're still going to respect people's property rights, and we're going to do our darn best to make sure that we protect the legacies of neighborhoods. We prevent people who have lived for generations in their homes from being displaced, that we protect the character of people's neighborhoods. But is it going to remain the same forever and ever? No, it's not. It's meant to be comprehensive and compassionate so that we can account for all of these things. There will always be disagreements, though. I do not discount that. But we have to make sure that we're doing our very best given all these challenges. And that's what I've committed to. That's why the 5 people have stayed at the table for 9 months together, even despite their diverse and disparate perspectives, and that's why they've been able to attract 100+ people from all over the community, experts and citizens alike, to help us address these things. We are doing our very best, Graciela. And I know you didn't send it in, but I know that this is a concern that is mirrored across the community, and we are working on it. We are working on it.
Have y'all read the Vecinos report on mission trails?
We have. I have, and I know my colleagues have. And that is a genesis point for this whole conversation.